Welcome back. You're watching Morning News today on eNCA. Now, the National Empowerment Fund has come under fire for giving a multi-million rand loan to Ndalo Luxury Ventures. The designer store, which opened its doors in Hyde Park in Johannesburg last week, is co-owned by magazine publisher Khanyi Dlomo, her mother Venetia, businesswoman Judy Dlamini, and of course the NEF. Is this a case of empowering the already empowered? Let's now chat to Thando Mhlabiso, the chairperson of the board of the National Empowerment Fund, or NEF for short, who's just joined us in the studio. Thando, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Why did you fund Khanyi Dlomo's luxury store?
Well, you know, this opportunity went through the processes we always, go through, everyone. Ultimately, we look for two or three key things. The first is whether or not we think the entrepreneur has a good chance of building a good business. Mm-hmm. So it's really based on commercial reasons. And we were convinced that there's a good chance that she and her team would do that. The second thing that we look at is whether or not the opportunity will confer developmental benefits to the country. So things like, job creation, empowering women, and to the extent to which the venture might contribute to building rural areas. Okay. And then ultimately, we look at whether or not we're likely to get a reasonable or good return from the investment.
Okay, which makes good business sense if you're funding something.
That's
from a
right.
broad-based sense of it,
yeah.
Does it really fit that criteria? And if so, how? You mentioned rural women.
Yeah.
And are they part of this venture? And who are they?
Yeah. So, okay, if you look at the NEF, our mandate is to promote broad-based empowerment. And so if you look at all of the investments we've made so far, in the last 10 years, we've invested about 5 billion rand into about 509 black ventures. And 60% of those are toward SMEs. So the other 40% are larger, so individuals like Khanyi who come and want to build or buy into an existing business.
But somebody like Khanyi is viewed generally in South African public as already empowered. She's already successful. Wow. She owns a publishing business, number one. She's also been part of the recently formed Power FM of that consortium, which was also funded by the NEF. And it's very interesting to find out if the NEF was aware that she's sort of, so to speak, double dipping. Yeah. She's being given an advantage over others by benefiting from these two deals.
You see, the thing is, people, I think, misunderstand the mandate of the NEF. And it is both to assist those that want, to seek funding for the 200,000 rand, and that's the bulk of the people we've supported. But it's also to support those who have experience, been working in corporate South Africa, and want to go out, start their own businesses, and so on. We have to support both of those.
Okay, understood. But was Khanyi part of the Power FM negotiations? Because in August last year, you approved the deal for the luxury designer. I don't know when the Power FM deal was approved, but did she take part in those talks as well?
Well, I don't know if she directly took part, and but my understanding is that she is not a principal driver of that particular venture. The difference here is that she not only is an entrepreneur and an owner, but she's put in her own money, and she's working full time in building this business.
Yeah, I understand they came together. They put in about 15 million
into this particular
deal of the luxury designer store. Yeah. Surely, with that amount of money, they would have been able to raise the other part of the funding from the banks, and you could have used the 34 million rand to benefit other entrepreneurs who are also been knocking on your doors and who claim they have not received a yes from you.
Yeah. It's interesting though, Dan, because one would have thought that someone like her could raise money from the private sector, but she wasn't able to. And she actually is a classic example of what's gone on with many black aspirant entrepreneurs. They have great ideas, and some of them, now she's fortunate enough to be able to have some of her own money that she can put in. Most of us don't have that, right? But even with her own money, being willing to put it in, and the background that she has, they could not get money from the private sector. This is precisely where the NEF is supposed to come in.
Okay, are you aware of the reports that she and the CEO of the NEF, Philisiwe Mthethwa, are friends?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Are they friends?
I understand that they are, but more it's a professional relationship that developed after they came to know one another when she applied.
Now,
but
as the chairperson of the NEF board, are you satisfied that the right procedure was followed? Are you satisfied that all the criteria that the NEF goes by were implemented in approving this deal, and that you've done the right thing? Especially the timing came just as you were running out of capital, and you are currently requesting the Minister of Trade and Industry, Rob Davids, to recapitalize the NEF to the tune of 2 billion rand.
I am perfectly comfortable. You know, this investment went through a process that's no different from any other. In fact, to be honest with you, she went through a difficult time because this was not the first time she came to us seeking money for this investment. First time we said no, she made things better, and then we thought it was a good investment. So, but even from a corporate governance standpoint, for every single investment, we look and we make sure that there are no connected parties or anything like that. So I'm very comfortable that it went through the proper processes. Now, this question, though, of the recapitalization of the NEF, our, supporting this investment and others not being able to get money. I understand the frustration people have, but the truth of the matter is there are two completely different things. We made this investment in Ndalo last year, in August last year. Since then, it's been almost a year now, we've invested close to R1 billion in other ventures.
Okay, thank you.
But the truth of the matter is, we've been investing for 10 years. We're doing well in putting the money to work, but that money is going to come to an end.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure we're going to have to leave it there, and you've just tried to satisfy us that the process was followed, and we want to believe so. But I'm sure people will be watching this with interest, especially going forward when new entrepreneurs in the country will be looking for funding from the National Empowerment Fund. And we're talking there to the chairperson, Thando Mhlabiso.
News that moves. eNCA.com.